The Galaxy Fit3 is a great entry-level smartwatch if you just want some of the basics. Let's chat about the price point, some of the things that I like, and some of the things that I think you like as well. Hey, what up? We're back again with another video, and for today we're discussing the Galaxy Fit3 smartwatch. That is this smartwatch that you see on my wrist. This is a great option for someone who's looking for a lot of the core smart watch features without necessarily breaking the bank. I'm going to be reviewing this from the view of a long time Samsung user, and then also at the same time giving you my thoughts on my favorite top 5 features around this device. A little bit of context before we get into those top 5 features. Firstly, I am a traditional watch type of person. These are the types of watches that I tend to wear, so I've never really had a lot of FOMO for the smartwatch craze that's out there. My wife actually has an Apple Watch, so I've been living vicariously through her just around what that life has been like. But when I did get this particular device, I did decide, okay, let me immerse myself into the world of smartwatches and see what this is about. Getting into the features, number 1 for me is the Samsung ecosystem. Now, a lot of people have knocked Apple, for its walled garden, the Apple ecosystem, that type of thing. But where we are right now, we have a lot of manufacturers that are trying to create and develop their own ecosystems. I've spoken before about the Samsung ecosystem, and this is, yet again another example of how Samsung is building its own ecosystem. I love the fact that as a Samsung smartphone user, I get to use a Samsung smartwatch because it integrates so well. Before this was not my first smartwatch. I actually have a Huawei smartwatch, and I spent a little bit of time with it, but the problem is it wasn't playing nicely with my Samsung phone. Wouldn't integrate with Samsung Health. Had to get a separate app, register separate accounts and all of that stuff, and I was like, no, you just want something that's easy, that just flows with your phone without necessarily having to now register separate accounts. So for myself, I decided I actually wanted to have something that was Samsung based, and I think these are some of the things that people will be thinking about as they make their purchase decisions, because there's probably ways you could do workarounds to make these different branded smartwatches and smartphones work together. But for the normal person, I think it's way too much hassle, and you're probably just best working with similar branded devices. So getting into the life of the Samsung ecosystem, as I said, I like the way that it integrates with my Samsung device. Connection between this device and the phone primarily happens through Bluetooth, and then the app that is connecting everything together is the Galaxy Wearables app. We've spoken about that app before with our Buds 2 Pro review, because Samsung's wearable devices such as the earbuds and the smartwatches, that's how you can get those fine controls. So it allows you to get fine tuning of your smartwatch. You can check the status, you can check the menu configurations, you can also get watch faces, you can also set up some of the quick access panels, all of that stuff happening through that app. And when you first take it out of the box, it's through the app that you get that initial setup, and it happens quite quickly and quite seamlessly with that Galaxy Wearables device. And additionally, as part of the Samsung world, this integrates very well with the Samsung Health app, which also exists on your phone. So you can now sync your various activity from your watch to your phone, and your phone to your watch, just so that everything is together. We do need to spend a little bit of time talking talking about the interface, it's a pretty simple interface that Samsung uses. And if you have any other Samsung devices, you can see Tizen OS making its way to your wrist, and it uses a combination of swipes and presses to get through that interface. And you have three main areas and ways through which you're interacting. First, is a quick access panel, which can be accessed just by swiping, from the top, and that just gives you some of the, quick status items. Think, your status bar, on your smartphone when you swipe down. That's the same idea. You also have what are called, quick tiles. These are an interface that you swipe through, and you can actually set what you want in there. Through your phone, you can actually set what those tiles are going to be. You can have media controls, you can have fitness tracking, you can have notifications, you can have all manner of things, as well as the ability to monitor your heart rates. All of that you can swipe through the interface and have those tiles. And then lastly, you have your traditional app drawer, and that just goes through all the different menu items, health, alarms, time, weather. Those are the types of things there. And then lastly, the watch has a home button that is on the side. If you click it, it usually takes you back to your main watch interface, but you can also just double click it. At least on my watch, it's been set to go straight to a new workout. Second on my list is the fitness and activity tracking. I've traditionally been a person over the last year or so. I've done that type of activity through my phone because it's always on me, so it can check how many steps I have, that type of thing. But the introduction of a watch into the mix, it's great to have the flexibility of not always having to have your phone with you. So every once in a while I can go for a walk, I can go for a run, and you just have this on the wrist, and it will do everything. But for myself and my lifestyle, the preferred combination is you've got the phone, I've got the watch, and then I've got the earbuds, and that's how I typically go about exercising. And my favorite feature there is just the ability to continue with your workouts, but being able to control the music that's in your ear on the watch. For me, I think that's been my favorite thing so far. Number 3 is the notifications. This is a great notification machine for a person like myself who sits in a lot of meetings. It's just great to have something that you can quickly glance at on your wrist and actually see whether something is important or not. It allows you to read through texts, you can read through emails very easily. But what you cannot do is to respond on the watch itself. This is perhaps a drawback for a lot of people. You can't dictate because some devices allow you to dictate a response, and it's too small to have a usable keyboard, so that's not something you'll be able to do. So when I said you can't respond, what I meant is you can't type out a response. The screen is far too small. But the watch does provide a number of predetermined responses that you can make. It's in a list form, things like okay, nice, that type of thing. So you can respond, but what you can't do is to type out that response. It does have, a nice feature where you just click show on phone and it will literally go straight to that notification on your phone. So I thought, that is a great feature there. And then the other thing that I've enjoyed is the fact that it does give you call alerts, but once again, you can't necessarily answer the calls on your wrist, but you can actually hang up the calls. So it at least lets you know. And once again, because I'm typically in a lot of meetings, perhaps recordings and that type of thing, I always have my phone on silent. So I've tended to miss a number of calls. So at least now you have something that lets you know what's happening on your phone. So number 4 on my list is the battery. Samsung actually claims that you can get 13 days of battery life on this device, and I'll say that for myself, I have yet to actually get to that point. The best that I've been able to get so far is perhaps 5 or 6 days of battery life, and for me, I'm not complaining at all, because as I said, we have an Apple Watch in the house. It's an SE, and that's a device that you actually have to be charging on a daily basis. So I like the fact that I can charge it perhaps once a week, and that's it. And for myself, typical use is as I said, exercising usually in the morning, and then just during the day, for typical notifications and that type of thing. So I don't know if I'm considered a power user of any kind, but that's what we're getting. The one knock that I do have, and perhaps for me it's because I use an older device, as I said, I'm using an S10 Plus in terms of my smartphone, is the fact that Bluetooth connection between the watch and the phone does draw quite a bit of battery from the phone itself. So that is something that I found for myself. So typically I'll switch on and off the Bluetooth depending on when and how I'm using the watch. So perhaps it might be time for me to get that S24 Ultra, who knows. But this is a smartwatch, which means you have a small battery and you can typically get a really good amount of charge within a short space of time. The last and perhaps my favorite feature of the Galaxy Fit3 is the price point. This is Samsung's entry-level smartwatch, and in South Africa you're coming up at 1,300 rand, more specifically 1,295 rand. That's what you're looking at, but internationally you're looking at roughly 65 to 70 US dollars, and that is great value for what you're getting. The feature set, this reminds me a lot of the old Fitbits from back in the day. I think it was the Charge range back in the day, but with more advanced features. So from that point of view, it's really great. And I also think about it from, if you are in the market for a smartwatch, the most popular brand is Apple, with the Apple Watch, and their entry-level device, which is the Apple Watch SE, comes in at multiples the price of this, at least 5 or 6 times the price of this device. So really great value. So as I said, this one is an easy recommendation on my side. Really great device, and you're getting those really great core features around your activity tracking, notifications, and I think it's a great companion device for your smartphone. And as I said, if you do have an older device, just check what the interaction with your battery is going to be looking like. Otherwise, on the whole, this is a great option for someone who's looking for a great feature set at an entry-level price. You guys can let me know what you think. Are you a smartwatch user? Are you like me and you're perhaps rocking both of them at the same time, or you've decided that you're going to use them, you've structured it in the morning, I'll use the smartwatch in the evening, for the rest of the day it's a normal watch. You guys can let us know what you think. Are you even a fan of smartwatches? Let us know what you think, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
This is Muffs Too Much, and you're watching MobbJustice TV. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. We're there on YouTube. Thank you for watching our video. Subscribe.